Hello, everyone. Welcome to our new community call here with Scale3. I'm very glad to welcome these guys to talk to us about their autopilot product, which is a nice monitoring product for your node. Today, I'm joined with a bunch of friends here from EthStaker. I'll quickly introduce them. Nixo, I'm sure you've seen her before. Buddha, who's not on camera, and Sam. Hello, guys. Thanks for
Hi.
joining.
Hello.
Um, they might ask questions from either the YouTube chat or their own personal questions because these guys know a lot about Ethereum and monitoring and node setup. We are also joined by the great Scale3 team. I'll let you guys introduce you. First, let's start with Ola. Hello, Ola.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ola Musay. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Scale3 Labs. Karthik.
Hey everyone, good to meet you all and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Karthik and I'm the CTO and co-founder of Scale3 Labs. Over to you, Yemi.
Hey everyone, nice to see you again. My name is Yemi. I focus on protocols and infrastructure here at Scale3 Labs.
Awesome. Thanks for you guys for joining us at this community call here. I don't know if most of our viewers know about you. We did a community call last year about the same product, but you guys had a bunch of updates and we'll show them to everyone today. But first, I'd like to ask Ola, what exactly is Scale3? Where do you guys are coming from? What are you working on?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So, Scale3 Labs came from we're a team that came from Coinbase, right? So, we're the team that led protocol operations at Coinbase. So, what does that mean? We manage over 40 plus protocols at Coinbase, where our responsibility was to make sure the protocol never goes down. We had to make sure that each protocol was upgraded properly, make sure that any patch, any outages had to be supported. And that required us to be able to monitor and respond very quickly. So from there, we left Coinbase based on the idea like this needs to be done in a different way, in a different model. So what does that mean? All blockchains are not created equal. They have different languages that they support, Rust, Solidity. And we just thought about what was the best way to kind of operationalize how you run nodes. From the time you spin up a node, to get observability into it, to be able to manage that node, to be able to report on that node anytime there's a problem. So from that, we created Scale3. What is Scale3? Scale3 is an infrastructure that you use to manage your nodes and your network to get blockchain intelligence to how you manage your node when you have problems around running a node. How do you spin up a node very quickly? How do you manage the node to make sure node doesn't go down? You don't lose money if you're a staking node provider. So we have the entire product suite. We call it the Web3 operating system. When it comes to insights into your nodes, when it comes to how you manage your node, when there's an outage, how do you upgrade your nodes? We provide all that as a managed service for you. And you can either do that on-prem for any on-prem infrastructure you have, or you can do that in the cloud. We help you deploy it into your own cloud to where you can manage your nodes and you get rich insights. You get ability to respond very quickly, to be proactive in making sure that your node never goes down. You can be driving in your car, have an alert that your node has a problem, and with our software, you can kind of respond very quickly. So again, we've tried to optimize and try to operationalize how you manage nodes to make it easier for you now to think about running nodes.
Awesome. And I believe you guys have a multiple product, and the main one that we will focus on today is called Autopilot. Yemi, can you give us like a quick overview of what like Autopilot is and like what are the different features? And I'm sure we'll go into like a live demo to show more about it, but maybe you could just give us a few insight.
Yeah, sure, happy to do it. So kind of picking off on what Ola just shared, right? So experience at Coinbase basically formulated this idea of running nodes in this Web3 space is really difficult you ever spend some time in any Discord, you see the same questions coming up over and over again. And it doesn't matter if one person just answered that question. 10 minutes later, somebody else is asking the same question, right? So it's difficult. A lot of times Google can't really help you. So what we kind of kind of the framework we come around is a kind of like operating system, a single pane of glass to help you in your node story, your Web3 node or infrastructure story. So um, essentially that's what Autopilot does. So we have this hierarchy of problems that we're trying to tackle with Autopilot. So the first one is, okay, how do I even run a node, right? A lot of the time it's you're gonna have to go figure it out, read a bunch of outdated documents and all these things. Solving that problem is what we're doing with Autopilot. The second thing is, okay, now that I have a node coming up, how do I monitor the node? Right? Like, okay, you have it all running, but it's a new update that comes out tomorrow. That all that effort that you put in there is just wasted because you don't know how to keep a node up to date. So again, in that whole continuous journey of running your node, keeping it up to date, making sure that you're able to be a contributing member of the Web3 ecosystem, that's the idea behind what an Autopilot product is. The other kind of next problem in that cycle is, hey, how do I keep my node secure? And I'm just going to run through it real quick. Then the final one, well, a couple other ones is, hey, how do I make sure that if I have an issue, because at some point your node will go down, like Ola said, how do I make sure I get alerted, or how do I even solve the problem, right? Because getting alerted is one thing, well, actually, troubleshooting and solving the problem is probably the bigger issue. So pretty much looking at all that whole cycle is what Autopilot, we're tackling these problems. And I'll be happy to pass it on to Karthik to show you a real cool demo of what we built so far.
Sure, Kartik, if you're ready, a live demo would be very helpful for us to see exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Ola and Yemi, for providing the much needed context. So, just like how Yemi said, all the hierarchy of problems we have tried to solve by building a single unified platform. And this is our product. It's called Autopilot. And once you sign up, like you can sign up for free on the free. Like we have 3 plans, but there is a free forever plan as well. So you can sign up and try using it today. Once you sign up, you will see all the nodes on this overview page. We have a bunch of nodes that are linked or deployed through our platform. But when you sign up for the very first time, obviously you will not see any nodes. So like Yami mentioned, we try to cater for node operators in different aspects of their nodes journey. So if you see at the top right over here, there is a new node button. So there are a couple of ways to link a node to our platform. If you are a new node operator and you want to like deploy a node from scratch, you can hit the deploy button. But if you are a node operator who already has a node live and running somewhere, and you would like to make use of Scale3's monitoring tools and the suite of logging and alerting capabilities, you can go ahead and link your node. So I'll quickly walk through each one of these processes in this demo. So let's go ahead and hit deploy. So this is the scenario where you don't have a node. So let's call it Ethereum node deploy. Now let's go ahead and select Ethereum here, mainnet. So you can deploy a full node or a validator node. Like the validator node deployment is still being tested. So if you run into any issues, hit us up through this chat in platform. We will be happy to help you with the support. But for the purposes of this demo, let me go ahead and deploy a full node. So today we have support for deploying nodes on all 3 major hyperscalers, but we are also adding support for bare metal providers, and we are also building a documentation where you can use some of our open source tools to deploy nodes directly to your infrastructure, like a Raspberry Pi or whatever that you are using. So for this demo, I'll show you how to deploy the node on AWS.
So can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Why can't you choose the validator node type? What's the reason?
We can choose. Like I don't have a validator key and validator password at the moment for this demo.
And why does it need the validator key for?
It's needed for setting up some of the process, like automating some of the steps while we are bringing up the validator. But we don't store the keys and we don't store the password. It's just needed for the setup process.
Okay, so this is actually deploying the node, including the validator. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is on your own infrastructure, by the way, not ours.
Yeah,
So
this is not deployed on our cloud at all. This is deployed on your own infrastructure. So you need to connect your platform through the connect platform flow over here. So if you'd like to deploy it on AWS, you can just connect your AWS account, or you can connect your GCP or Azure account. So we don't run nodes. We just help you run nodes. It's just like a front end for your cloud infrastructure.
Do you plan to add local support as well so that you can deploy it locally, or is it just going to be AWS?
Yeah, we are working on local support as well. To start with, we will be providing some guidance through our documentation to deploy it locally. But that's something top of mind for us as well.
Okay, sorry for stopping you.
No problem. Yeah, so if you would like to set up just a node and tweak it later to set it up as a validator, and you don't want to share validator keys and whatnot, you can select full node. In this case, I have my AWS account connected to this platform, and like I mentioned, this is my own AWS account. It's not the Scale3's AWS account. So you will get an option. You will not see a drop down when you're doing it for the very first time. You will get an option to connect to your platform, and this shows you how much it costs to run the node on AWS. Obviously, it's configured with a very high configuration, which is why you see a high cost. Like this is not this is not what Scale3 is charging you. This is like, even if you deployed on the same configuration, approximately the charge is going to be pretty much the same. So once you make the selections, review the summary page and hit deploy. Now the node will start deploying on your AWS account. So when it starts running, you can double check by going into your AWS console to check if the node is deploying or not. And these are the versions that we are using. So it shows what version the node is currently being deployed on. And once the node deployment completes, you will also see the SSH details for SSHing into the node. And if you wish to disconnect your AWS account after deploying the node, you can also do that. All you need to do is go to settings and go to platforms, and you can just like hit this and hit delete, and like you would have disconnected your platform, and you will have your node on AWS. Like it won't remove the node.
I just
So
noticed
let
something.
me.
Excuse me, Kartik. I don't want to interrupt you too much, but you are deploying like a version of Geth that is not the latest one. Is there a reason why you're not like deploying like the latest Geth version?
Yeah, so we keep updating the latest version, but once the node comes up, you also get an option to update the node directly from here. So you can go to actions, update. So you can directly pick the latest update from here. So like Lighthouse, you can pick the latest updates. So every day the list keeps updating every day. We do some checks behind the scenes to make sure the version is working really well before it shows up in the platform.
Great.
Let me quickly jump over to one of the nodes that's already deployed, so I can quickly go through before I do that, I will also run through the linking process. So let's say you already have a node and you would like to use the Scale3 suite of monitoring tools. You can go ahead and hit link. Here you can provide the ETH link. Just give it some name, select Ethereum, select mainnet, select any platform. So this is informational. If you don't wish to provide this information, you can just put other. Again, like the version is again information, because we are only going to set up a monitoring suite for us. We don't need the versions. We can directly pull the versions from the node. And you can select validator or full node. If you select validator, you just provide the public key, so we can also set up alerts directly. And you just hit create configuration. So when you hit create configuration, give it a moment. Let me go back, refresh. So this is the node that we just created now. And once you go in, like go to the summary page, you see monitoring status is not receiving metrics or not receiving logs. So now this means you need to set up the node to start sending metrics and logs to Scale3's backend. So we can bring up a monitoring and a logging dashboard. So on the node settings page, there is the setup process for setting up a monitoring dashboard. And we don't do anything fancy here. If you already have a Grafana agent running on your node, you can just tweak the configuration file to set up a remote write endpoint that sends metrics to Scale3's backend. But if you don't have a Grafana agent, we provide you with a CLI wrapper that downloads the Grafana agent. We also provide you with an install script, and you can just use these tools to set it up correctly. We don't have our own agent or anything. We don't run any other process on the node. We just use Grafana. But if you wish to download Grafana from the official source, you can also do that. So let me quickly go through the process of like setting this up. So you can just select the first step. I have a node that's already SSH'd in. So let me download the Scale3 CLI. The next step is to make the install script executable. The next step is
sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you again. Is this script, like, can you inspect it, like, just to make sure, like,
yeah,
there's nothing fancy going around?
yeah, you
as a
can
user?
do a cat. You can see the entire script.
Interesting.
So it's all open. So you can see what's going on here. The next step is setting up the configuration file. And finally, you can just run the install script. So when you run the install script, we also auto-generate an API key for you. So you can use this API key to make a connection to our backend. So when you hit install, it just asks you to check if the configuration file looks good. You just hit 1 and say yes. Now it's installing the Grafana agent. So it says like it's downloading, unzipping the Grafana agent. It's checking the service status and all that. So it takes a few seconds. So once you see this thing and it says successfully started shipping metrics, what we do is we now automatically do the process of setting up a metrics dashboard. It takes about a couple of minutes, 2 to 3 minutes for the dashboard to show up on this metrics page. So it's as simple as that. And for the logs dashboard, again, similar process. Instead of Grafana, we use something called Vector. So you can see Vector. You can just search for Vector logs. So this is what we use. Again, another open source tool that's like widely used across the board. So we again package up Vector with the CLI and provide you with a configuration. So it starts streaming logs to Scale3. So let me go ahead, because we already did the first 2 steps, we can just start with the third step. And again, like paste the configuration file. Once pasted, run the install script once again. It asks to check if the configuration file is looking good. Say yes. Now it's downloading Vector, so it's using the Vector installer to install Vector, and it's starting to stream logs from
I'm
the node.
guessing this would work if you were to install your client as a systemd services, right?
Yummy might know. I believe so.
Yes, so that's a very good question. So if you're using Docker, we do support Docker as well. It just takes a little bit more custom configuration to get Docker working with login, because there's different login formats and different things like that. So
That makes
but
sense.
we have documentation around that as well.
Great.
Yeah, so once that's done, you can see already the logs have started appearing for this node. And you can see the live tail logs that are appearing. By default, we kind of retain the logs for 3 days on the free account, and every 3 days we prune them. But if you need like additional retention period, we can also support that. This is nice and handy in the sense that you can put filters, for instance, and if let's say you don't know what's going on here and you would like to share these logs to somebody on Discord, you can just hit the share link and it generates a link for you. And you can just share this link to anybody, and they don't need to sign up to Scale3 to look at the messages at all. They can just go to this link and they can see the log messages. It's just a read-only view for a specific timestamp. And this way, you can collaboratively debug any issues on your
That is
node.
going to be so nice for us when we do support for our users.
That's I was just about to say that's especially nice because sometimes when people come and share like screenshots from the terminal, they're never really sure what's safe to share. And so this like makes it very helpful because you're not worried about like, oh, am I sharing personal information here?
Yeah, I mean, we have faced this issue personally, and which is why we kind of built this feature. Happy to take any feedback on this. You also mentioned it's hard for folks to tell whether they are sharing any personal information or sensitive information. So if there is any feature additions that you would recommend, we are happy to do that as well. So feel free to check it out. Now let's go and check if the metrics dashboard has come up or not. Yeah, so it looks like the metrics dashboard has also come up. Like I mentioned, we use Grafana for this, and the dashboard is showing up. And the nice thing is we also support a bunch of different dashboards at the top over here. We have, in terms of client support, we have Get, Lighthouse, Nimbus, and Nethermind as well. So if you have any additional requirements for any clients that you think you are running and we don't support today, hit us up directly on the chat. We are happy to support that. So you can switch between different you can switch between different dashboards at the top over here. You can see the Lighthouse metrics, you can see the Go Ethereum metrics, and we also add support for the system monitoring. So you can see all of that from here. One additional thing that we have done is setting up alerts. So setting up alerts through Grafana, setting up alerts for the logs, we kind of built a nice interface, and you don't need to deal with Grafana's alert rules and alert policies. So go to settings and metrics alerts. We have support for a bunch of different channels over here, email, Slack, PagerDuty, Opsgenie, and Telegram. And majority of the alerts that are mostly common, we are surfacing here. So you can just click a button to set up alerts on these parameters. And you can also set up alerts on logs. So you can do like adding a pattern. So if let's say you're watching for a merge or you're watching for a network upgrade, we can put that pattern over here. And whenever that happens, you will get a message saying like the merge has been completed or the network upgrade has been completed. So this is the entirety of the observability stack that we have built. This is like the core of the product, and we have a documentation, so you can just go to documentation over here. So you can see like for different alerts how to set up things and whatnot. For things like if you're running a node on Docker or Kubernetes and whatnot, we provide you with a bunch of details like Helm charts and things like that. So you can also use that. This is the Docker setup, like Yami mentioned. And one other thing that I can show is you can also set up alerts to your validator. So if you would like to set up alerts like how you set it up in Beacon Chain and other tools, you can just provide a public key to your validator. You can search for your node. And you can set up alerts for like attestations missed, proposals, sync committees, and withdrawals processed. It tells you your balance, whether the node is slashed or not. And again, you can set up these alerts on a bunch of different channels. So this is especially useful if you're running a validator node, right? So this is another feature that we built. In addition to that, like Yami mentioned during the introduction, the hierarchy of problems that we are trying to solve. One other challenge that we face on a day-to-day basis was like, how do I keep track of 10 different Discord channels? How do I keep track of 10 different Twitter profiles? So we built this thing where we surface the latest software upgrades and some information around software upgrades from 40 different protocols. And you can see useful information here. Like say, for instance, if you select this, it tells you the name, the category, priority, whether it has a breaking change or not, commit hash. If there is an upcoming network upgrade, tells you about that. And you can set up alerts for these things. Like if you just want to receive alerts for Ethereum on a particular client, only when there is a breaking change, you can set up alerts for such scenarios on email or PagerDuty or any other channel. And we also surface the latest information from different discords. So you can see all the major messages that are flowing from different discords specific to node operator community that we surface over here. So you can keep track of different clients as well. And like I mentioned, you can set up alerts for the same things. And you can also set up a bunch of bookmarks, especially if you would like to share bookmark, like some useful links to other users of Scale3 products. You can create a bookmark. You can mark the bookmark as public so everyone else can also see. You can see a bunch of links over here. And we also built a cool feature called Node GPT. You can ask questions. It's trained on a wide variety of information that's available out there, specific to node operators. So if you just ask like node operator related questions, if you get stuck, it's going to give you some answers to that. And this thing is available on the GPT store as well. So you can also go directly use it from ChatGPT's GPT store. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will pause here. I know it's a lot, but happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I have one right away. I don't know if you wanted to say something else before.
No, I just wanted to summarize real quickly again. Karthik, thank you for the demo. Again, this is a live product today. We have customers on it. One last thing I want to mention, as of today, we are also in the Amazon marketplace, but just kind of summarize again, we want to make this the Web3 operating system. That's kind of what we're calling it, right? You have the autopilot feature. If you want to just pilot and play and do stuff in your environment, you have this sidecar product that can help you make sure your node doesn't go down. You get quick insights into it. Everything you have to go do yourself that takes you hours, you can be done in minutes here. And that's on the autopilot side. Again, on-prem or in your own cloud, in your own environment, you have the product there. The other one that Karthik showed very briefly is the network intelligence, the blockchain intelligence piece, right? Again, this is good for when you're tracking. You all have your method of tracking updates. At Coinbase, we had almost 11 or 12 project people, and their job is to deal with Discord for every protocol, communicate with them. And even at that point, things happen where you have to do an upgrade in production right away because the information wasn't deciphered correctly. We spent time with humans and some automations in the back end to make sure this data is as accurate as possible, up to 99.9% percentile. So that way, when you're looking at our blockchain intelligence product, and when you're communicating with it, engaging with it, you know you're getting real-time data. And the good thing is having the DevOps mindset. We have an API process where you can plug it into your CI/CD pipeline. So that way, if an update comes, you can automate that process, do a test in testnet, make sure things are okay before you push to production. So we're just trying to build a life cycle to make things easier for you to engage and run nodes in your environment. So that's it.
Awesome. I had a question here, and I don't know if it would make sense for Karthik to go back to his screen sharing, but let's take a concrete example of like what would be very interesting with the Antle side of the product. We have the Dencun fork that is coming up in the next few days, the next few weeks, and like what would it look like if I was running the Scale3 AutoPilot product on my node, and like I would need to know, for instance, that I need to upgrade my clients. Like, how would that look like on the product?
You mean
For
like
the
update?
Yeah, for the Dencun fork, for instance.
So just so I understand your question correctly, so for updating the node or
Yeah.
like seeing the log messages that shows the Dencun fork, you mean?
Like as maybe like as an alert that like, oh, this is an upcoming fork. You will need, like, you're required to update your client. Like, would I receive an email? Would I
Yeah.
get some kind of visual feedback somewhere?
So there are a few things that you will get from the platform directly. So on this upgrades page, like I mentioned, you will see the upgrades, and there is also like the ecosystem. So when you set up alert for Ethereum over here, there are like three different kinds of alerts for this specific use case. So announcements, updates, and update insights. So when you set up these alerts for Ethereum, especially in the run up to the Dencun fork, you will receive an alert saying the Dencun fork is coming up, and you need to update your node to this particular version. Whether you have the node linked to our platform or not, if you set up this alert, you will receive that alert. And one other thing, once you have the node linked to the platform, let's say this is the node that we just linked, right? So if you would like to get alerted when the Dencun fork happens, you can go to settings, you can go to logs alerts, and you can add a pattern that exactly tells you what log message will appear on the node, like in the run up to the Dencun fork. Like there are certain log patterns that you can look for. I don't know off the top of my head what that is for Dencun fork, but based on my previous experience for some of the other folks, it has been like various patterns. You can look for those patterns. The block height is going to pause at a specific height, and you can just set it up in such a way so that if it happens for more than 20 times, send me an alert so you can be aware of and you can watch your node. So these are the couple of signals that we kind of provide today.
Yemi, you had a
Yemi,
comment
if
as
you would
well.
like to add anything.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually kind of see, I feel like I see where you're going with that, Remy. So what I'm kind of thinking in my head from your question is, hey, I have a node in Autopilot and there's a network upgrade that's coming up that is going to impact that node. Kind of having some sort of a visual that, hey, this node is on a version that needs an upgrade for an upcoming. Is that what you're kind of hinting at for that experience? Yeah, no, that's really good feedback. I think that's something we can take as feedback and we can work on that. But if you go back real quick, Karthik, if you go back to the Intel, kind of want to show real quick what we have today. Go to ecosystem and let's filter on Ethereum, on chain Ethereum. Just filter on chain Ethereum. Yeah, so if you scroll all the way to the top, so this is what Karthik is saying, right? Basically, if you have Ethereum node right now, the experience you get is you subscribe to the Intel, and whenever there's an update that comes up about, well, an announcement that comes out about network upgrade, which usually with Ethereum, you will get a ton of different upgrades, unlike some other chains. I'm not going to mention any names, but essentially, you get a bunch of notifications that, hey, there's this network upgrade coming up. You need to upgrade your node. You need to upgrade your node. So depending on whatever channel that you've specified, so Slack, PagerDuty, email, Telegram, whatever your method of communication preference is, you will get multiple notifications announcement. But I do like that idea that you kind of floating that, hey, you already have the data, you know the version that I'm running, you know there's a network upgrade, kind of link those two and tell me that, hey, this node is not up to date. We actually do have, not compliant. We actually do have a feature on the Suite network that's kind of similar to that. We're calling it, I forgot what the name of it is, but essentially the idea behind it is that you have an update that is pending that needs to be done, basically like a network upgrade, and your node is not compliant. So we're checking I think we start the check like every 3 days, then we go to 24 hours. So you start getting alerted that, hey, your node is not compliant with this upgrade. Make sure you upgrade before the upgrade deadline arrives. So we have that in the different bits and pieces right now. But I do see your question experience about kind of making that a unified.
Yeah, if I can chime a little bit here, Remy, I think the challenge also is some people use a visual login to look at it, which is why alert is better, right? So if you're not in the console, you can get an alert, you can respond quickly. So, but we need to build for the pattern of like people that look at the console and look at it as well. They can visually see that something is happening. But we're all super busy, which is why alert to a certain channel to kind of see what's going on is the first method we went with.
That makes sense. And like I'm sure there'll be plenty of like home stakers in the coming days that will forget about updating their clients, and we will have to kind of support them. But like if they were using such a product, it could very it could be very helpful for them and for us to lower our support needs.
Follow-up question for the upgrades, for the upgrade alerts from Balafar. What's the UX for actually doing the upgrade?
For doing the upgrade, obviously, like some of the upgrades requires like database resets and whatnot. That is not supported directly from the platform, like as it requires like SSHing into the node. But if you are just like if there are no major breaking changes and you don't need any database change resets or anything like that, you can just go directly into the node. This works only for nodes deployed directly through Scale3's platform. For the nodes that are linked, we have no way to connect with the node, so we cannot do this. But if you look at like for example, this node over here, you can just go to actions and you can do update node. So you can just do this. So you can select one of the latest releases and shows you like things like the
Can
breaking
you
changes.
also downgrade through this if there's like a bug with the
No.
latest upgrade?
Yeah, we can support downgrade, but we don't support it intentionally because in some cases downgrade can put the node in a bad state. So we kind of made the decision not to support it with this thing at the moment because it's also kind of tricky. Like in some cases, it changes the databases, the schema and whatnot, and it puts the node in a bad state.
Gotcha. Hey, Obina.
Can you mute Obina? Obina, please mute.
I have, so just to make it clear, I have 3 questions about who this software is for, and so maybe you can clarify for anybody watching. I'm going to ask all 3 of the questions first and then go through them one by one. So I want to know target audience for this. How many validators are they running? Where are they running on the cloud, bare metal, at home? Are they set up yet or not? Or like, is your target audience somebody who's going to set up through Scale3? So first one, how many validators is your target audience running?
So the way we are thinking about it is on the free forever plan. If you're a solo staker who is just running one validator, we just provide like you can just use it for free forever. Like we give you one node that can be either linked or deployed to Scale3, and you can get all the features for free. But if you have a sophisticated setup where you are running like a bunch of different validators across multiple different protocols, that's where the enterprise plan comes in. And it's depending on your use case, we do a custom pricing around that.
Okay, and where are these people running? Any cloud, bare metal, at home? Where are they
Yeah,
running?
anywhere. Because if the node is if you're just looking to make use of the observability stack, the node can be running anywhere. We don't even have to know that because we are just bringing up a Grafana and a logging dashboard for you with all the alerting needed. But if you'd like to deploy, we support the top 3 clouds at the moment. But we're working with a bunch of bare metal providers that are popular among node operators to add support for those as well, along with the local setup as well.
Awesome.
But if you have
and,
sorry, go ahead.
go for
Go
it.
ahead. Never mind. Go ahead.
No, I was going to move on to a new question.
Keep
So
going.
you
Keep
go.
going.
You go. Okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
So is your target audience already set up? Do they already have their validator set up, or is this primarily for people who want to set up through Scale3?
At the moment, we are seeing a sweet spot with the validators who are already having a node, and they would just like to make use of our observability suite of tools. And they also like to have control of their node, so they know what they are doing. They just see Scale3 as a way to set up an observability stack and make use of it. But we are also noticing a few folks that are like, we want to set up and run a validator, and we don't know how to do it. And for them, like the entire end-to-end journey of deploying, connecting a platform and whatnot makes a lot more sense. But to answer your question, at the moment, it's mostly validators who already have a node that's deployed and they just want to use the monitoring tools.
Okay, cool. And if you set up a node through Scale3, do you lose any autonomy? Like if I wanted to set my own custom gas limit, can I still do that even if I deploy through this software?
Yeah, I mean, like you don't lose any autonomy at all. Like I mentioned initially, if you would like to deploy the node through Scale3, you can connect your platform, deploy it, and disconnect the platform afterwards. After disconnecting, you still own your node. You can still access your node from your cloud. It's just a front end to the cloud. So and we we are node operators ourselves, and we kind of understand that like node operators do not like to lose autonomy of their nodes. So we don't take that feature away. We don't try to abstract away too many things.
Cool.
I have one general question. So if I monitor my node using Scale3 and the machine dies for whatever reason where the monitoring runs on, how do I receive a notification for that?
I
And
receive. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and the second part, like if I just go out of memory, is that something that you would catch? I guess it's an easier thing to catch, but if the machine dies, how do I get notified at all?
Yeah, so we have run into this scenario quite a few times in the past as well. Out of memory, it's straightforward. We do alert you. There is an alert for it. If the machine dies, like we kind of notice that the Grafana dashboard goes down, and if the Grafana dashboard goes down, we send an alert. But Yemi, you have dealt with
Yeah.
more than me.
Yeah. So those are very good, good questions. And actually, one thing I'll say real quick before I go into that is we, because this is actively maintained, active project, SaaS, we're continuously improving as we go. So there was an issue, I'm not going to mention the chain here, that happened, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where the whole chain halted. Everyone probably knows what I'm talking about. But I see Remy's smiling there. But anyways, like that type of scenario, we basically say, hey, do we have an alert to catch this? And pretty much instantaneously, we're able to roll out that alert to all customers of Scale3. So now to answer your question, if you have like a scenario where your node runs out of memory, we have alerts that basically say, hey, if you get into 80% memory, you start getting alerted, whatever it's PagerDuty, Slack, whatever you set up. And we also have a server availability. Actually, let me split that into two. If your say your get process fails or goes down, we have an alert for that. So the node might be up, but the node software is down. That's an interesting scenario. You want to get alerted for that. The second scenario is if the entire server goes down, where even the node software is not running, the server, Grafana can't talk to itself anymore, there's a separate alert for that. We call that the server availability alert. That, hey, your server is no longer available. Go check on it. And yes, so we have coverage for those scenarios. And if there's any other like scenarios that you think, hey, this will be super useful for ETH community, we're happy to add that to a platform as well.
That's the second instance that you guys run on your end to monitor whether a server has died or not. Is that right?
Yes. So basically, the way this works, Grafana agent is talking to a remote write endpoint, right? So if at any point, and the Grafana service is running on our side, so if the Grafana service is no longer getting data, it assumes that either the server has gone down completely, so it's going to alert. So it really even has nothing to do with your server at that point. It's just saying, hey, I'm supposed to be getting data from the Grafana agent on their server, and I'm not getting the data. So let me know what's going on here. If there's a scenario where maybe you're just doing some maintenance and you want to kind of take that server down intentionally, you can silence the alert so it's not noisy. But in a real world scenario where it actually goes down, you will get an alert.
Thank you.
Did we have any more questions from either the YouTube chat or from some of our EthStaker members? Are we done with the question for the chat, Nix?
Yeah, I think so. There's a conversation going on in there, but I don't think there are any questions anymore.
Awesome. Great. Well, before ending this community call, we have a POAP. Oh, you have one? Go ahead.
Sorry, there is one question. Validator key management is a challenge many individuals have. Does Scale3 have any tools to assist there, or would it be on them to SSH into the box and manage from there?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We kind of realize as well the validator key management is a really difficult problem to solve. So as of today, we do not have any tools to manage keys, which is why we don't store the keys or do anything like build the platform in a way where it does anything to do with the keys. But we are working with some companies that are experts in this field to see if it makes sense to integrate directly with Scale3 instead of building it in-house. But we will keep you posted on that front. But at the moment, we do not have any ways. You can just manage your keys directly by SSHing into the node.
Great. I guess we are almost done with the call. We have a POAP to distribute. As we've been trying new distribution method, we are going to be using this one today. This is called an airship. So in order to collect the POAP for today's community call, you will have to send exactly 0.001 ETH to the protocol guild.eth address. I'm showing this on screen, so if you guys are in Zoom, you're not gonna be seeing this, but for our viewers, you have the exact address where you can send this amount, and it has to be exactly 0.001. So make sure you double check that before sending the transaction. It can be either on mainnet or Arbitrum, and it has to be performed before February 19. And once we compile all of the transactions, we will be sending the POAP automatically to the sending address. So if you want to get today's POAP, make sure to send 0.001 ETH to the Protocol Guild. And if you guys don't know what the Protocol Guild project is, they are a way to finance many of the core developments that is being performed on Ethereum, especially like the core client teams, for instance. So that's the way that you can obtain today's POAP. We are done with today's call. I'd like to thank our guest today, Scale3. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for showing us your product. I'm sure that this product will be very helpful to many of our viewers. We know that like monitoring, alerting is not something that's built in, especially for home stakers. Like home stakers are not people who are often familiar with how to perform system administration and like all these kinds of tasks. So for that use case, I'm sure there's a great market there, especially with the free offering. But maybe that could also work for some of the larger node operators too. And we are happy to have you again.
Thank you, Remy. EthStaker, thank you. Nixel, thank you again. We appreciate the time today.
It's really fun chatting with you guys.
So thanks again, and we will see you guys in another community call. But we want to tell you that we will have a watch party for Dencun fork on mainnet. That is still to be set up. But we will make some announcement if you guys want to catch us next. So have a nice day, and we'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.